Attention SMP artists, are you looking to take your business to the next level? It's time to fully systemize your studio for growth with the ultimate sales and marketing platform for SMP artists, HighLead. With HighLead, you get everything that you need to save time and effortlessly generate more consultations and bookings on autopilot. And guess what? HighLead is not just a system, but also one of the largest Google ad agencies in the world for SMP professionals. Imagine having a marketing strategy that's tailor-made for the SMP industry, driving high-quality leads right to your studio. Say goodbye to the struggle of finding the latest marketing trend. HighLead has you covered. Invested into your training? Check. Invested into your equipment and studio setup? Check. Now it's time to invest into your marketing strategy. Don't risk your marketing budget on anything else until you've experienced HighLead's growth system and Google Ads services. Don't pass on this special opportunity for listeners of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. Visit GoHighLead.com today to book a free demo now and join the hundreds of SMP artists who've embraced HighLead to thrive in their businesses. On the free no-obligation demo call, a member of HighLead's team will answer all of your questions and help you unlock the potential of your SMP studio by getting you more bookings. Visit GoHighLead.com today. Today, I want to talk to you about something crucial for your SMP business, where you get your tools. It's not just about having the right tools, it's about getting them from a source you can trust. And that's why I recommend Palms Fashion. Palms Fashion has been serving professionals since 1991, right here in the heart of New York City. As a family-run business, they've built a reputation for providing new and authentic products to licensed professionals around the world. And now, they're taking it a step further by offering scalp micropigmentation supplies so you can get everything you need in one place. They're an official distributor of the biggest names in the industry: Andis, Wall, Babyliss, Stylecraft, Ink You Care, and more. These are the brands we trust to deliver flawless results, and Palms Fashions ensures you're getting genuine products with full warranties, plus SMP supplies you need to keep your business running smoothly. Your tools and supplies are an investment in your craft and your success as an SMP artist. So don't just buy from anywhere. Trust the experts at Palms Fashion. Whether you're in New York City or shopping online at palmsfashioninc.com, they've got everything you need to take your business to the next level. Remember, trust the best, trust Palms Fashion.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. I am your host, David Santiago. Joining us today is Damien Daigle. He is the founder of Barber Ink Studio and a Master Barber with over 10 years of experience. As a U.S. Army retiree, Damien's attention to detail and passion for helping others have made him one of the fastest growing SMP artists in the industry. Since starting Barber Ink Studios back in 2021, he's been delivering some of the most natural looking results in scalp micropigmentation. Damien's love for the industry is not only seen in his work, but also in his dedication to training the next generation of SMP artists. Let's welcome my man Damien to the show.
Yo, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on the podcast, man. Like you said, I'm Dame out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Barber Ink Studios. We're in the building, baby.
Yes, sir, my man. I appreciate you for taking some time to jump on the podcast. I know we actually was chopping it up a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas, man. I had the pleasure of meeting you, and we got to chop it up a little bit. Not as much as we wanted to, because your boy was busy, man. That booth was packed, man.
Busy, dog. Hey, I go to a lot of shows all over the country, right? And I think I got more love out of anywhere than in Vegas. Like out of all the shows I've been to, between Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Ohio, wherever, I had the most love ever in Vegas, man. So shout out to Vegas, man. The LV Barber Expo showed us a lot of love.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to Vegas. Shout out to the LV Barber Expo. Brother, you know what was dope for me to see, man? Not that there was just one SMP artist there. There wasn't 2, 3, 4, but there was 5, man. Like the not the culture, and I'm not saying about the SMP culture, but the barbering culture, they're now accepting this because they're like, yo, hold on, like these dudes are up to something. Like we gotta get in. Let's bring them in. How did that feel for you, man, to know that, you know, I mean, we're barbers. We come from that industry, so we know, like, we're very welcoming, a very welcoming crowd. But I'm sure when you first got into SMP, it was kind of like, I don't know, my man.
You know, it's a little different, man, with barbering, man, because barbering, yeah, there is a lot of barber love when you go to these shows. But in the barber industry, man, just like the SMP industry, there's always a lot of hate as well. But at this show, man, I got a lot of love between the barbers and the SMP artists in the building, whether they had a booth or they were just walking by like, hey, man, I took an SMP class with such and such last year. So, you know, everybody was just showing love, man.
That's dope, man, that they even came up to you to let you know, like just to rock with you. But
Yeah.
how did it feel for you to showcase SMP among some of the most talented barbers in the world? Because you were actually working on a client there, man. What was that feeling like to have everybody just
Oh
build
man.
around you watching you?
I love it, man. I embrace it, man. I thrive in it, dog. Having a big crowd around me, I'm able to answer their questions about SMP while I'm working. Man, I love it. Getting to educate while working, while getting the SMP message out there, getting information out about my course. And a lot of these guys don't even know what SMP is yet. Like, we're still in the low levels of this thing for real, man. There are a lot of people doing classes, a lot of people taking classes, but there's still tons and tons of people that never even heard of it, man. So being able to educate these barbers, especially the younger guys, like how they can add this service to their bag and just, increase their income. They don't got to stop cutting hair like I did or like a lot of guys do. But, just to have this extra thing in the bag, man, extra income, they love it.
Yeah, for sure, man. As a master barber, right? And you got over 10 years of experience. What was it that made you choose to add SMP as a skill set, man? And how did you even make that transition?
Man, so that was a tricky one, man. So SMP is something I knew about for a while. I've been doing it for over 3 years now, but I've been knowing about it since about 2016. That's one of those things, like I kind of kicked myself in the butt a little bit. Like, damn, I should have hopped on it then. But at the time, I couldn't see the vision. I was more or less like, man, who's really going to let you tattoo their head? So, fast forward a few years, COVID's going on. I'm looking for something to invest into. I'm thinking about opening up a bigger barbershop, expanding that business. But everything was a little uncertain during COVID, man. So I decided to just invest in myself and my education. I went down to Miami. I actually trained with Taylor. I did his course over 3 years ago, man. And I came back home and just put it to work immediately, man. And I just took off with it.
Yeah, I remember you doing your training with Taylor because I found out about you because did he do your SMP or no?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So it was because that's right. You got the design. So I was kind of like, oh shit. I was like, yo, homie's brave. Like he put the part in there forever. And then I remember I started following you, and then I'm like, holy shit. Like, yo, my man hit the ground running. You went into action 2, 3, bro.
It's one of them things, man. You got to put it to use as soon as you take that class, or you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, what similarities do you see between barbering and SMP, and how has your barbering background helped you, excel in the SMP industry?
Yeah, for sure, man. So this is one of the conversations I have with barbers all the time, especially ones that are interested in taking my course. How, man, they almost go hand in hand. I'm gonna teach you how to do a fade with a tattoo machine, man. So as long as you got that barber eye, like I already had it, I've been cutting for years, book busy clientele, 6-figure barber, own shop, all that good stuff. No new clients, appointment only, everything you really want as a barber, right? And I was able to take that pretty much that same way I was grinding in the barbershop, put it towards SMP, and I even ramped it up even more, man. And just having that barber eye, knowing what the edge up should look like, knowing what the fade should look like, it eliminates the bold cuts, the crooked hairlines you see. A lot of that stuff gets eliminated. And I know that tight barbershop lineup still gets a lot of hate from certain folks in the industry, man, because I know it's not the norm, but it's really catching on with the barbers. So for me, man, it just kind of went hand in hand. I picked it up quick.
Yeah, like what you said real quick with the hairlines. In the SMP industry, it gets a lot of hate, but that's just because they don't understand our culture. They still don't understand that in our world, like in the barbering world, the crispier that looks, the more defined it look, the fresher you are.
Exactly.
Where to them, they're like, but it looks stupid. And it's like, my man.
Yeah, for the guys that started this thing, they weren't going to the barbershop getting that fresh cut. They want that natural looking buzz cut, which is fine. But people travel from all over the country to see me because they want that super crisp lineup. And a lot of guys are going to be, okay, well, what is it going to look like when they're 60? Man, they're going to look good as fuck. Like, I'm worried about that when I'm 60. I'm going to be looking good. But I also have that option later. If I want to break this thing up, I can. If I want to have it a little bit more natural looking. But man, for me, that's just my bread and butter.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, listen, we all got to have our niche within the niche. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I love doing it all, man. I don't get a ton of naturals like I would like. I mean, I could do them, and I think they look great. I would love to do more, but people really come see me because they want that barber look.
Dope, bro. What was your motivation behind starting Barber Ink Studios? And like, how has it grown since you started it in 2021?
Man, so I started at my barbershop, right in my barber chair. Doing it right out the shop after hours on weekends. Whatever my off day was, I was doing SMP. So at that time, I was in what they call salon lofts. It's a salon suite. So I was in a 2-chair suite. I had another barber in there renting a chair from me. And I would turn it into my SMP studio after hours on weekends. And eventually, I ended up getting another suite in the building. to do SMP out of. So now I'm paying for 2 suites, man. And it starts to get expensive when you're paying for 2 of them rooms. They start to add up. So for the price of them, I'm like, okay, it's time to find a building. So I grew from the barber chair to the suite in the back to having my own studio. I got the barber chair in here. I got 2 SMP chairs. Got a couple guys that work in here with me. And, that's where I do my training courses at as well. So, Barber Ink Studios kind of came, honestly, from me just trying to think of something. Okay, Barber, Ink, studios is a popular word. I'm just trying to put something together, man. It took me a minute to figure it out. I did a poll on Instagram. I was like, okay, we're going to do Barber Ink Studios or Iconic Ink. That's another one I was thinking about. And then the Barber Ink Studios won, so I went with it.
Nice. Now, your trajectory has been crazy, bro. Like you one of like the fastest growing SMP artists in this industry, man. Like, what do you think has contributed to your rapid success?
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. But really just hard work, man. Hard work. That's what I tell people, man. Hey, I've never, not once, out of the hundreds of procedures I've done, had just somebody walk through the door like, hey, man, will you tattoo my head? No, never happened. It's all about how much you're gonna grind, man. Hustle. I'm going to all these shows all over the country, get my brand out there. I'm doing the social media marketing. I'm spending a lot of money on marketing. That's probably my biggest budget is marketing. If you're not ready to spend the money, then you're not gonna make no money. So really, man, it's just social media was the biggest part. Instagram for me.
And I wanted to get into like the marketing, but I was gonna say, what can you tell us when was the first time that you actually realized how much of an impact like SMP could have on someone's confidence? Because I know how you just said like they're not coming into you and they're just like, yo, do the SMP on me. Like you gotta you gotta implement some sales techniques
for sure
and all that to them. So like how is it that when was it that you really realized how much of an impact SMP could have on someone's confidence?
Man, definitely within my first few clients, man, just that look. Whenever they're looking in the mirror, they got that big smile. And then those clients were actually my barber clients. That's what I started with, a few of them before I started bringing in new people. And just to see their confidence go up, man, just to see that smile grow, just see them, their confidence, everything just about them is just feeling better, looking better. And then once you do that first one that looks in the mirror, this was a little bit later on, but they look in the mirror, they break down into tears and want to give you hugs and stuff. Man, that's a great feeling, man. Just like you're making money. That's definitely the goal. You want to run a business, man, but you getting people to feel this way about themselves, improving their confidence and how they feel about themselves, man, it's no better feeling, man, honestly.
For sure. And as a barber, I know, and I mean, I'm sure, we all relate, but there is a certain feeling of when you have someone in your chair and they tell you, you know what, brother, you're the barber. I trust you. Like, give me the cut that you think is best going to suit me. You know what I do for a living. You know, what's my culture, XYZ, and you finesse them. And they give you that look and they're like, damn, Dame, like you blessed me, right? And as a barber, you feel so accomplished. What's the feeling like? Is it the same or is it a different feeling when you're doing SMP and they look at themselves?
Yeah, man, it's totally different, man. So let's just say I had this guy, right? I did his SMP and I actually knew him in barber school. We went to barber school together. He ended up being a model for one of my classes. This man had a stroke a few years ago, brain surgery, tubes in his head, scars all over his head. He was losing hair. Then he went to somebody to get SMP. So he had bad SMP in his corners a little bit and on his scar. So I was able to pretty much do the entire top of his head, the entire back, filled it in, right? I hid the scarring, everything he had going on, alopecia, all of that. And to see this man look in the mirror and have tears coming down his eyes, man, for me, that was just amazing, man. You're not going to get that just cutting hair. No, this is somebody I actually knew. This is a tough guy. He too cool. He in here breaking down. Wife just over here looking like, oh my God, like this is my husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of them things where like, you're just not going to get this feeling just off a haircut because you're impacting people on a whole different level, man. Especially these folks that have been suffering from hair loss for, it affects some people way differently than others. Me, I was cool with the bald head. The only reason I got SMP is because I took the course. I'm like, okay, I got to be a walk-in advertisement. If I don't have it, then my clients are not going to trust me to get it. So for people that are bald doing SMP, like I wouldn't even go to them because you don't have it. But the fact that a client can just come and get this thing, man, and just change their entire just the way they feel about themselves, man. This lady suffering from alopecia that is scared to go out the house without a wig on. Now she has the confidence to do that. It's one of the things, man. It's a great feeling. You're not gonna get that just cutting hair.
Yeah, man, cutting hair. Let me tell you something. Like, I mean, and we all know it. We've experienced it. Like cutting hair, you did a good job. They're gonna give you a real, pound. Like, oh, man, you finessed me. I appreciate you. Maybe give you a nice tip. But I say SMP. you know, like you said, you're changing them in a whole other level, man. Like that was the first
Yeah.
time I actually had like a grown man like hug me and he had tears telling me like, I mean, they'll tell us like, yeah, you know, you changed my life with this shape of XYZ, but with SMP, like
yeah.
they got the emotions to follow it when you're
Everything.
like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like damn, bro, like I legit changed homie's life.
Man, look, I had one guy, right? And again, I don't agree with this, but this guy, he came, got SMP. He comes back for a second session. He told me, dang, bro, you changed my marriage. Like, you changed my entire life. You saved my marriage. My wife didn't like my appearance with the bald head. It was like really causing problems for us. So after he got that second session, he comes in, he's telling me, like, man, it looks amazing. You saved my marriage. My wife loves it. I'm like, bro, I'm glad you like it, but she ain't the one for you. Like, if she cares so much about how you look. But you know what I'm saying? It gets deeper than that, man. It could be not even affecting, you know, you personally, but your spouse or, you know, whatever the case is, even though that's kind of shallow, but still that's something that I ran into.
Yeah, for sure. I've had my share of that too, but this ain't about me. This is about you, brother. What made you decide to start offering SMP training, right? You know what I mean? Like what do you focus on when you're teaching new artists? Because you're coming from being a barber, a client, an artist. What is it that you focus on? Because I know you're seeing the stuff that's being put out there. There's so much you focus on, but what is your focus? Like,
I got you, man. A lot of training, I feel, cuts corners, right? But going back to when I first got into it, man, I had no intention of having a training course. I didn't know I was going to be doing this full time. I thought I was just going to be doing it here and there on top of being a barber. But it took off for me. Then people start reaching out. Hey, Dame, are you teaching people how to do it? I'm like, I'm not, but I can. You know, I used to train soldiers in the military. Me teaching you how to do this is easy. This light work. This ain't shooting and low crawling and all this military stuff. So if I could do this in the military in a high stress situation, this is easy work in here in the air conditioner. So I put the curriculum together. You know what I'm saying? I put the curriculum together. You know, pretty much made it. You know, did my own thing with the curriculum. And then as I've been doing training the past couple of years, now I've just been tweaking and finessing and refining it to where I'm making sure those 3 days I have are jam-packed. You got a schedule from 9 to 5 every day. And again, you're not going to get everything in those 3 days. You're not. That's why I offer the unlimited mentorship. If you are stuck, you need help because you just got a lot of information, you're having a little trouble mixing up ink on that first client or whatever, you can call me up. You can come to my studio, do it in my studio with me just to make sure that you're good. But man, you know, a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people, even in Las Vegas, man, they said, hey man, I just took a class, you know, last year and I've been on the island. I ain't been able to get in touch with the person that I took the class, but I never heard from them again. Me, I'm an open book. I'm here for you. If you need me, you can call me. I might not reach out to you all the time, but if you need me, I'm going to answer.
Yeah, man, we were probably talking to the same people because I had a couple of them coming. I was telling them, I'm like, yo, there's like 5 of us here, bro. And trust me, we're open books, bro. Ask around, go to all the different booths, like, you know, get in their brain, ask questions, man. These dudes are good dudes. That's why we're here.
So feel me rain from behind. Black rain. Peace to the in the game. Black rain. Through the struggles and the strain. Black rain. Elements of mine. So feel the rain from behind. Black rain. Peace to the in the game. Black rain. Through the struggles and the strain. Black rain. Elements of mine. To feel the rain from behind. I'm sorta like a killer devil rebel. The getaway cars are the sounds of the bass and the treble. Cause I get into mine able and ready, so keep
So I like how you reverted into your veteran status and like the shit that we've had to endure, right? Yeah, so like how you related where it's kind of like not, I know that you're not saying, and neither am I, that SMP is easy. It's just compared to the things that we've had to apply ourselves to, learning these ways and the men and women that we had to train, you know what I mean? So this was kind of like, this comes natural with us. Like, this is what we do, you know what I mean? So
if you're teachable, I can teach you this.
There we go. Barney style, baby. If you're teachable, I could teach you. So
it's money.
With your background, both in the Army and barbering, what unique qualities do you bring to the SMP industry?
Man, attention to detail. That is my biggest thing. You can ask any one of my students. Man, I got a little bit of OCD. I probably had it before the military. I'm sure it was amplified then. But everything in my studio, if you look at it, everything has a place. Whether my barber station, my SMP station, everywhere has a rhyme and a reason. You open my drawers, everything dress right dress, everything looks A1. And then with my even something as simple as setting up the station for the procedure, right? I have my students do exactly as I do. You know, you could tweak it and change it when you leave here, but here you're gonna have your water bottle here, you're gonna have your napkins here, your machine here. I'm very OCD and anal with it. Everything on there is gonna be wrapped up. It's not nothing gonna be just sitting here like I see on some artists. You know, stories and stuff. They just got 10 bottles on there, nothing wrapped up. It's just all on there. You know, like I'm teaching them everything, you know, by the numbers, man, step by step. It's not an online course. It's just me teaching you everything I know step by step from day one where we crawl into day 3 where you work on a live model. So, you know, I do everything I can to teach you everything. And then if you got any questions, I'm here.
Outstanding, man. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from both barbering and SMP that you applied to your business and your training today?
Man, that's a hard one right there, man. Customer service is a big one. Being able to communicate with people, man, and that's something I definitely learned in the, you know, from the military. You're gonna meet so many different people, different backgrounds, different countries. You learn how to communicate, because I was just a country bumpkin out of small town Louisiana, never been nowhere, never did nothing. But I feel like being in that setting, going into the barbershop, I was able to go in there day one and just start laughing and joking with everybody like I was a part of the team. So I'm able to take that and just talk to a complete stranger, whether it's teaching a course or telling them about SMP, and just, you know, we just chopping it up like we've known each other for years, man. So being able to have that communication, I think, is a major part. From the military to barbering to me as an SMP artist, whether I'm teaching or talking to a client, communication is definitely key. Because if you can't communicate with this person and tell them what SMP is, if you don't sound confident when you're talking to them, they're not going to want to give you $3,000 to put a needle in their head. So you got to be that subject matter expert. You got to sound like you know exactly what you're talking about. Answer any questions they have. Now, I'll get back to you later. And, you know, you got to be able to be a salesman, communicate, all that good stuff, man. And for me, I mean, you caught me off guard with that one, but I think that's the one I would go with, communication.
I tell you what, and I see that I did, but I love your answer. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dame, very, very few artists even touch that customer service and the communication. No one like really touches it. And I'm glad that you said it, because you know what, man, like you're a hot shot, man. Like you spit fire, like you keep going. So I can tell, you know, you have confidence in what it is that you're saying. And listen, I don't want this to be a podcast about like military, this and all that, but I'm going to say that that's what we learn. That's what we do. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, it's a part of me. I joined when I was 17 years old, man. So it's instilled in me. Even though I've been out for 12 years, it's still a part of who I am and how I run my business and how I go day to day. But I definitely don't want to make it a straight military podcast. But you know, when you ask me certain questions, like, well, that kind of had something to do with where I'm at now. So,
well, this one might kind of take you back to there, because I guess it just has to deal with us, you know, coming up under that kind of structure. So, how important has it been to balance attention to detail in both barbering and SMP to get the most natural looking results?
Man, I mean, just taking my barber background and just mixing it with SMP, I'm able to just really give my clients what they're looking for. This guy that's been bald for 20 years, he doesn't know what his hairline would look like on him right now. He remembers last time it was down here, but now it needs to be up here. So I'm able to use my barbering to kind of see where that hairline should be, how the blend should come together. I'm able to kind of just use that background to make this one even more successful, to give great natural results. That way the hairline's not too, you know, too narrow, not too wide, not too high. You know, a lot of that hairline is the biggest part. Just like in the barbershop with a haircut, man. First thing they're gonna look at, not the fade, not how good, you know, you got it trimmed up and everything. They're gonna look at that hairline. The hairline A1, they're gonna let a lot of stuff go. So as long as you get that hairline A1 on that client, especially if they come to you for that barbershop lineup, then you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be good to go.
They don't even look at everything else. They do like about an inch or two back. Nah, he good. He got it.
They don't even take the mirror and look at the back. They see that front, they're like, oh yeah, I see the blend. Oh yeah, we good, bro.
All right, I want to get into, like, I want to get you, for the most part, everything that you've said has been incredibly valuable. I kind of want to zero in on dropping some gems. So how do you approach your marketing for your SMP services, and what strategies have helped you build your brand so quickly?
All right, man. So honestly, my biggest thing, my main thing is Instagram. Instagram. I'm not with one of these companies that go high leads and stuff like that. Nothing against none of them. I might try them out one day. I just haven't. I'm not doing much on Google at the moment. I didn't have a whole lot of luck on Facebook. I'm really just getting TikTok going. So I would say 90% of my marketing and my marketing budget is on Instagram because that's where my platform is. That's where people come see me from. So I've had really good success with Instagram, and I'm hoping to hit some of these other platforms that grow even more, man. But Instagram for me has what's brought me clients.
So now, when you say Instagram, are you just doing like organic, like basic posts, or are you like boosting your posts, stuff like that?
For sure, definitely paid advertisements. Paid advertisements. I'm running ads from anywhere from the South all the way up north, the entire East Coast through the Midwest. I haven't done a whole lot on the West Coast, but after having so much success there at the show, I plan on hitting that hard too. Getting those training. I mean, it's just kind of hard, man. You got to be careful that you're not wasting in marketing dollars. Like, let's say I'm advertising in all these states, and let's say Mississippi. Nobody's ever came from Mississippi to see me. Okay, I'm gonna just stop advertising there because I've been doing it for a year. Nobody ever came. So now I'm gonna go to these other states. Okay, nobody's come from North Dakota. Let me take them off. So that way my ad dollars are being spent in actual states that are showing love that really want the service. So it's I just tweak it and play with it.
Who do you see like the surrounding states? Are you getting the most your most clients from, or they coming from everywhere?
Oh man, I'm in Charlotte, man. So I'm about 4 hours from Atlanta. So I would say most of my clients might come from Georgia, but I really get people fly in and come in from everywhere, man. Up in, like I said, the entire East Coast through the Midwest. Ohio, as far as there, from Texas up to here, Louisiana, everything in between.
As a barber, did you ever have a client fly in to get a cut?
A cut? No, never.
How does that feel though, bro? Like when someone tells you when they come in and they're like, "Yo, bro, I'm flying from New York or I'm coming from DC to come see you, bro."
Man, I got somebody flying in, catching an Uber from the airport to my studio to get SMP, and then going right back to the airport to fly home. Then they got to do this 2 or 3 times. Man, after that first one, like you kind of feeling yourself a little. Like, I must got the juice. Like I'm doing something right. Like because you could have went anywhere else to anybody else, but you flew in to see me, and you're gonna have to do it more than once, man. It's a good feeling for sure. Even with students, man, taking the course, they're coming from across the country. You could have went over here to somebody that is much closer, maybe even cheaper, but you decided to come to me because you like my content. That's all part of the marketing, putting the content out, and really just being genuine, man, having good conversations. I'm not trying to push anything on you. I'm just telling you what it is, how this career changed my life, and what it could possibly do for you if you do everything I tell you. And them jokers come in, man, from all over the place. It's an amazing feeling, man. It's not like the barbershop, somebody complaining about having to drive 20 minutes. I got somebody flying hours. Like, it's crazy, man. It's a good feeling for sure.
Yeah, it sure is. What advice would you give barbers who are thinking about expanding their services by offering SMP, and why should they come to you?
Man, so what I tell everybody, man, start in the barbershop, in that barber chair with your existing clients. Either do it for free or do it for the low, a couple $100. You're getting your reps in, it's your clients, so they're getting it for the low. It's not going to be your best work because you're still learning. So start in your barber chair, do it for next to nothing, and then work your way up to where you got some content to advertise and bring in people from outside the shop, man. So definitely do it in the shop. And then, especially if you're coming from a barber background, come see me because that's where I come from. I started behind the chair, and now I'm not. I left the barber chair, full-time SMP. Whether you're trying to transition fully or not, I can teach you how to incorporate it into what you're doing.
Bam, just like that. How long have you been out from behind the chair, Dame?
Well, so full, what's the word I'm looking for? Full transparency, I cut 1 day a week. All right, so on Fridays, I cut hair, and that's for the very loyal clients. I got to Charlotte in 2015, and I got like 8 to 10 clients I cut every week. On Friday, that's it. And that's just because they've been loyal. I was going to stop completely, man, but I talked to my wife, and she was like, bro, they've been taking care of you for years, so you can't just leave them out in the cold. So I let go of 95% of my clientele, and I kept them very special ones. The ones that during COVID, they still sending me money for haircuts, even though I'm not cutting their hair, checking on me and the family. The ones that are almost like family themselves. And they still on the schedule that once a week. So it kind of keeps me in touch with the barbering as well, keeps my skills sharp, but, just maintaining relationships too.
That's dope, man. I respect that, brother. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see the SMP industry going in the next few years? And how do you plan to continue growing Barber Ink Studios?
Man, so the SMP industry is exploding, whether people know it or not, because everybody and their mama's doing a training course. They done did 2 SMPs, not anything they can teach somebody. So everybody's got a course, right? But I was that guy that you got to start somewhere. I get that. So I'm not hating on nobody, but everybody's got a course, and it's going to be something close to you in your state, in your city, in your town. So really, man, what's going to set you apart is the content, the marketing. That's going to be the biggest thing. that make you want to come see me because you've seen some dope content, and you got to keep it going. I'm trying to do a post a day. I'm trying to stick with that. My engagement is going up, so I'm trying to stick with that, man. But the industry is exploding. I think there's going to be a point in the next few years where there's going to be a barber or multiple barbers in every shop offering the service. Like I really think it's going to grow that much because so many people are taking the course, but at the same time, how many people are doing something with it? That's right. 10 people take a course, maybe one actually uses it. So, but I do see it. It's just growing.
For sure. Now, this is going to be a two-parter, right? We're going to talk to the brand new SMP artist and the seasoned SMP artist. What's one gem that you got for the brand new SMP artist? What advice? And for the seasoned SMP artist, one gem.
All right, man. So, man, one of my gems. I just posted one on my page. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. All right. And that means you got to be comfortable and be able to thrive in these situations that take most people out. If you can be in this bad situation, man, okay, the clients ain't coming in, but you still at it. The marketing ain't really working, but you still sticking with it. You're not giving up. If you could be in that situation, still thriving, not giving up, it's going to work out for you, man. There's not a whole lot that life can throw at you that you can't handle if you could be comfortable in that uncomfortable situation. And I do got one more, man. You got to be, what's the word I'm looking for, man? What's the word? When you all in on something, you got to cut this part because I'm sounding crazy. Man.
All in?
Like you all in, like you just, okay, obsessed. So here it is. You got to attack whatever you're getting into to the point of obsession. So if you're not going to really attack this thing, I'm talking about you're all in on it, you're not going to be successful. Like when I first started doing SMP, it's all I talked about. It's all I thought about. I went to sleep. I dreamed about it. Me and my wife ain't getting along because she's tired of hearing about SMP. She don't want to hear shit about SMP. I'm at, at nighttime, I'm just falling asleep, editing content on my phone hit me in the face. So if you're not obsessed about this shit, then you're not going to get it going. And I feel like that's, any industry, any business, if you don't give it your all for the first at least couple of years, once you really get it going, then you can kind of slack off a little bit, take a little, step back because it's going to start to run itself at some point. But if you're not all in, it ain't going to never get going.
For sure. You talk about obsession, Damon, that this is something that you absolutely have to have so you can be successful in the industry. What about how it's being portrayed now? Because, they kind of put it out there like it's a get rich quick a get rich quick scheme. And like you said, a lot of artists are coming in, but a lot of them are not doing anything with it because they're like, oh shit, I got to do a lot of work. There's no passion that they have. They're just solely, chasing the bread. How do you think about it? Because listen, I know we all do it, but we all know how we also are going to teach. So it's like, yeah, we can put out there that we're going to get you the bag, but we're also going to equip you. But you're saying it's not about the money. You have to be obsessed with this. You have to have passion. Is that what I'm hearing?
You gotta be passionate, man. So, man, a lot of people, and I see this all the time on social media, they're gonna sell you a dream. Take my course and you're gonna make 6 figures automatically. You're gonna be a millionaire, whatever the case is. And this artist probably not even doing, SMPs like that, or they putting out work that's subpar. But man, they're really just selling a dream, man. And some people see through that. And they'll go with somebody like myself who is, passionate about what they do. And some people really get, they fall into that scam, a quick 2-day course, think they're going to learn everything they can. And, they're not. And they go home, they're still lost. They're still confused. They don't know how to mix up the ink. They don't know what needles to get or where to get them from. They're just lost. They don't know how to wrap a machine for a procedure. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys are getting sold a dream and they just set up for failure.
I think that's got to be the wildest one for me, man. When I get hit up and they're like, "Yeah, they didn't teach me how to, how to mix my pigment." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
You're talking about like basic 101 fundamentals of the fundamentals. Like you didn't learn that. How much you pay? Oh, I paid $4,500. Damn. Like there's dudes out there.
That's wild. I tell my students, man, because I don't have an online class. I tell them, hey, during this portion for ink mixing, if you want to record the whole thing, I'm gonna mix up so many different colors and teach you how to do it for each person, ethnicity, hair color, whatever. Record it, watch it. You need help with it? Call me. I tell them, send me pictures of your first client. I want you to tell me what ink mixture you're going to use because I use follicule. Look at the chart. Tell me what ink mixture you're going to use, what size needle you're going to use. If I agree with it, I'll tell you, hey, that's a good choice. If not, I'll tell you where you need to redirect. I'm not going to give you the answers to the test, but I am going to help you out.
Sure. Dave, before we wrap things up, man, can you let the artists know where they could connect with you, what the social media handles are?
Hey, so Barber named Dame on Instagram, TikTok, Damien Daigle Facebook, and then barberinkstudios.com for any more information. So if anybody wants to link up, man, y'all want to, just chop it up about SMP or whatever, man, just hit me on Instagram. That's the best place to hit me. Barber named Dame, and we can talk it up.
Yeah, for sure. And guys, I'll be posting all his social media handles if you want to connect with Dame at the bottom on the description of the podcast. Dame, I appreciate you, brother, for taking out some time, man, to chop it up with me in the podcast. I'm glad, man, that I got to meet you in person, man. You a cool fucking dude, brother. And when I learned that you were a veteran, man, it's just like we automatically became fam, bro. And I love what you're doing, man. I love your style. I know you got your partner. You had your partner there, your colleague with you, man. It seemed like you got a good team, that you working, that you building. And I wish you nothing but success, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm looking forward to watching it, man. You're doing great things. Keep it up, man. You really are uniting the entire industry, man. Doing these podcasts, talking to people, man, and really getting their side of things. It's also going to help out these new artists. They can watch this and really get a lot of gems.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me, bro. And guys, that's going to wrap it up, fam, for this episode of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. I hope you guys appreciate what my man Dave came on. He dropped some value on you guys. And once you hear this, guys, make sure you subscribe and you tap in on Spotify, man. Leave me a review and make sure you connect with Dame, man. Let him know how he did on this interview and what you found the most valuable in this interview. Guys,
for sure, let me know.
Peace.